Fog rolled in off the East River, snaking its way through the canyons of New York City, seeping into the very marrow of the city's bones. In a swanky apartment on the Upper East Side, Helena Harper stood before an ornate full-length mirror. The fog outside cast eerie shadows that danced on her walls, making her surroundings seem more spectral than they usually were. Helena was not just any woman, she was a prominent literary agent known for her razor-sharp wit and ruthless negotiating skills. Yet tonight, as she tugged at the loose skin of her neck with a manicured hand, she felt nothing like the invincible powerhouse she projected to the world. "Damn neck," she muttered, the frustration palpable. It wasn't just about vanity, it was the undeniable token of time slipping through her fingers. Meanwhile, in another part of the city, in a tiny, cluttered apartment in Greenwich Village, Jenny Mallory was having a similar moment of introspection. Jenny, a struggling writer with a penchant for horror stories, found herself staring into a fogged-up bathroom mirror, similar dissatisfaction gnawing at her. Her frustrations were more about the fine lines creeping around her eyes and mouth, early harbingers of the aging process. She pushed her damp hair out of her face and sighed deeply, feeling the weight of her own insecurities pressed down on her shoulders. As fate would have it, their paths would cross. It happened one misty evening at a book launch party for a mutual friend. The venue was an old, creaky mansion rumored to be haunted, a fitting setting for Jenny's morbid fascinations and for the fog that clung thick and heavy. Helena spotted her from across the room, a young woman who seemed out of place. A sense of déjà vu sparked Helena's curiosity. She approached Jenny, who was awkwardly nursing a glass of wine in a corner, her dark eyes scanning the room like a writer mentally cataloging details for future stories. "You look lost," Helena said, breaking the ice with a smile that betrayed both warmth and sharpness. Jenny startled, then smiled back weakly. "I guess I am," she admitted. Introductions were made, and the two women found themselves wrapped in a web of conversation about the inevitability of aging, the burden of unrealistic beauty standards, and the peculiar fog that seemed to shroud not just the city but their lives. "Your horror stories, why do you write them?" Helena finally asked, genuinely curious. Jenny's eyes darkened even more. "Because reality is much scarier," she whispered, and Helena felt a chill creep up her spine. Was it the fog, or was it the cold, hard truth in Jenny's words that made her shiver? Their unlikely friendship bloomed from that night forward. Two women, worlds apart in their daily lives yet bound by the same visceral struggle against the relentless march of time. They met often, in fancy cafes or dimly lit bars, sharing their fears and ambitions, their insecurities and triumphs. Jenny introduced Helena to the liberating power of fictional terror. Helena opened Jenny's world to the exhilarating thrill of the business side of writing. Together, they navigated the labyrinth of aging with humor, support, and a touch of grace. One foggy night, as they strolled through Central Park, Helena stopped and looked up at the skeletal branches of the trees overhead, their tips vanishing into the mist. "You know," she said thoughtfully, "I used to think that feeling bad about my neck was the end of the world. But now, it's just fog."